you were seeking?
A long time ago. I was young, and I had the misfortune to find this guru in Hampstead.
Right.
And I went there for about 16 years. I met my best friend there, Magda, who became a Saj Yogi. And this man was very dour. You weren't allowed, if you weren't already married, you were celibate, you weren't allowed to, have any relationships with people. It was like that. And in a way it was helpful because I was an actress, and it did keep me out of a lot of troubles that I could have got into. But anyway, I got in quite a bad state. I'd been going there for 16 years, and then Magda, who lived in Hampstead, she said, "Oh, there's a lady yogini coming to give a program. Let's go." And I was in such a bad state, I was so left-sided, I didn't go. It was on a Saturday, and Magda went with her daughter, Danya. And I saw them afterwards, and they were full of this lady. "Oh, she's lovely. She's got lots of flowers. She holds the babies. Everybody talks to each other." I said, "It's wonderful." So the next week, I went to Caxton Hall, and Shri Mataji wasn't there. Anyway, they sat me in the front. I sat in front of the photograph, and I had an amazing experience. I just felt everything I feel for my own mother came up in cinemascope. All these emotions that you have about your mother, it was just huge. And so I had this idea about Shri Mataji, that she was going to be a little lady. "Oh, come, darling, have a cup of tea, lots of jewellery, flowers, all friendly." So I went to Caxton Hall the week after, and Mother, I was sitting right in the front. I was as near as I am to Brenda, sitting there, and there was Mother's chair, and she came in, and she wasn't anything like this little lady covered in flowers. "Have a cup of tea, dear." She looked like an opera star. She had the white, she swept in, she looked round, and you know how she does sometimes, she looks like that. And the first thing, and I was having a very bad relationship with someone at the time, the first thing she said was, "This silly woman in New York, she's wasting her life on this worthless man. She's throwing her life away." And Magda, she was sitting next to me, and she went, anyway, I mean, to say I was awestruck is putting it mildly. I thought, here Mother looked like the epitome of intelligence. She had the most wonderful skin, like a child, beautiful. And she had this garland of marigolds that she took off. And because we were sitting right there, she gave us the flowers to smell. And then she spoke. And I don't know what to say. It was just amazing. And then in those days, she used to get up and she'd worked on everyone. And when she got to me, she put her hand on my head and she went, "Oh, the clash with the world, the heat." Anyway, I went home, and the next week I still went to this other guru. I'd been there going for so long, and I thought, well, this isn't right. And a few days later I went to Caxton Hall again, and we took a friend of ours from this meeting who was very rude to Mother, which was horrible. But at the end, Mother, when we all got up, Mother clasped my hands. I was sitting on the end. She said, "Don't worry about anything. All the warmth is there. You're going to be all right." And I was far from all right, but after a few weeks it got better. And then after that, I just never looked back. Eventually, I got married in Sahaj, and I became Mother's secretary, and I spent lots of time with her. So I can never thank Mother for what she got me out of and how much she's given me.
Yes. When was your first meeting with Mother?
It was 1980. In fact, it's Bernard's just had his anniversary. Mine's coming up next week, I think. 16th of June, 1980. Yes.
That's very nice. Would anyone feel like to share the funny moments of Shri Mataji, because it's so informal those times? Yes. There must have been so many, probably.
Yes, there was one in France. Could I just say something? Yes, we were sitting in her bedroom, and she looked in the mirror, and she said to me, "I have to hide who I am every minute of the day. I have to hide who I am." And of course, in those days, you didn't really get what she meant, because it's not like it is now, where it's absolutely awesome.
What did you make of it when Mother said that?
Well, I took it in. She has to hides who she is. And of course she is an amazing actress.
Yes.
There's nobody better than her. She took me to the bank once. She wanted to get some jewellery out because her husband was taking her to some reception. So we went into this bank, she and I think there was one other person, and Mother changed. She looked like some little immigrant lady. She looked very big, she had a camel coat on, she had a scarf. She looked just like a little immigrant. We went up to the counter, and the girl said, "Oh, shall I speak to you?" She spoke to Mother as if Mother didn't understand English. So Mother said, "Yes, you talk to her, you talk to her." So then they got the strong box out, and we went into the next room, and then all that dropped. There was Mother. So, she's a superb actress.
Have you had any of those moments, Bernard?
Yeah, I have. I went shopping with Mother once in Southall. It was the weekend of some weddings in London. This is quite a well-documented story of mine, but
I was in this wedding. When I
was
got back.
it Cheltenham Road?
Yes,
Yes,
Cheltenham
please
Road,
tell.
yeah.
Well, we were living in the hotel in Bramham Gardens in Earl's Court, and well, in those days we had a housing collective in London, which I know Fergie's trying to resurrect, but there was this guy who got hold of all these old properties that were up for redevelopment, and he'd already got hold of one in Warwick Road, and there were a load of yogis living there, and it was the first time I was going to live collectively with yogis. And the night before I moved in, he said, "Oh, I've just got hold of this big hotel, you've got to move in." So Mia and myself moved into this hotel, and we were rattling around in this hotel for a couple of weeks, just the two of us with the 20 bedrooms. And then Shri Mataji said she had to move out of her old house, and the new house in Brompton Square wasn't ready. So she said, "Oh, I'll move into the hotel." So of course, immediately the hotel filled up. But before Shri Mataji arrived, she had this weekend of weddings, and we put up all the yogis who came from abroad in this hotel. And it was the first time I experienced having to cater for a large group of people. Anyway, they all turned up on the Friday night, and we had a manic evening, sort of trying to produce a food for 40 people and sorting people out and that sort of thing. And then the next morning we got the message from Mother that all the brides were to go and stay at Cheltenham Road that day in the evening, and all the grooms were to go off to Southall to go and buy curtains and pyjamas for the wedding. So suddenly the house was empty again, and we're left in this hotel on our own, and twiddling my thumbs and wondering what I should do next, and probably drifting off into the left a bit. And suddenly the call went out, "Mother's here!" I thought, "Oh my God!" So we all rushed down into the foyer, and there, sure enough, was Mother. Not only was the Mother, but there seemed to be a load of other yogis who'd sort of suddenly come out of the woodwork, I don't know where from. Anyway, we were standing there, and Mother had come to look over where she was going to stay when she moved in, and she said, "Oh, we couldn't find my car keys anywhere. We had to come over here by taxi, and I need to go and do some shopping in Southall. Has anyone got a car?" And I was right at the back of this group of people, and I heard this voice at the front saying, "Yes, Mother, Bernard's got a car." And, well, I don't know whether you could actually call it a car. It was a rusty old Mini. You don't see them in this state these days, but it had rust in the floor. You could see the road as you were travelling along. It had plants growing along in the windows. It had no suspension. The suspension was completely shot. And, I mean, it was just a complete wreck. And I was hustled to the front. And, Shri Mataji said, "Oh, that'll do." I said, "Are you sure you want to go in this car, Mother?" And she said, "Yes, no problem, no problem." So we went out, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, it was an absolute wreck, this car. Anyway, I opened the door, Mother got in, and we drove off, and there was a sort of big, sort of harsh farewell as we drove off up the street. And then when we got to Southall, what's the first thing we see? A big group of Saj yogis walking along the street. So Mother says, oh, pull over, pull over. So I pull over, and suddenly, the yogis all honked the car, and these yogis looked up and said, oh, who's that? It's Shri Mataji! And so they all crowded around the car, and of course, it being Southall, if there's a crowd,
Yes.
a crowd gathers. So suddenly, there's this huge, great crowd of people all crowded around the car, and they're all sort of peering in, trying to see who or what's in the car. Anyway, Shri Mataji gave some instructions to the yogis to where the best place was to go and buy some kurtas and stuff, and she said, right, we've got to go off. And so we drove literally 40 yards up the road, parked the car, and got out of the car. And it was just me and Shri Mataji, and we went into this sari shop, and no crowd, just Shri Mataji, another Indian lady walking into this sari shop, and it was, there couldn't have been more of a contrast. And the main thing afterwards, I remember we went to another sari shop, and Mother said, I'll pull over, and it was the yellow line, and there was this bus right beside me, and I leapt out and was opening the door for Mother, and this bus stopped, and the driver started swearing his head off at me. I thought, he can't do